What's up, everybody, and welcome into the H&M Trucking podcast. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as you're hearing this just one day before the Thanksgiving holiday. We hope all of you drivers that are out there on the road are staying safe. And those of you that ended up home for home time this week, really hope that you're getting to spend a lot of good quality time with the family members. I am joined, of course, by my co-host, Denny Stone, who is getting ready for a big Thanksgiving dinner, but not very many people actually at the Thanksgiving dinner, it sounds like. Denny?
Yeah, that's pretty much the case. I think there's going to be 4 of us, but Dawn will make everything.
And nobody's going hungry. That's what that means, right?
Right.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't think I'm going to have as many people this year as I did last year, which is good. I was a little stressed out last year over Thanksgiving. We had a football game to go to the next day. I had a ton of people staying at my house. My buddy brought his dog over. She was very old. The dog actually ended up having to get put to sleep at the end of the weekend. It was a very tumultuous weekend. And when I think about that, I think, man, I was home. I was with my family. Everybody that I wanted to be around was right here in my house, and I was still that stressed out. It really gives you a kind of an important lens to look through from the driver's perspective. Imagine not being able to be there for that type of stuff, being out on the road and how tough that can be. And that's kind of where the idea for the Thanksgiving episode comes from. We've got a lot of office staff members and fellow drivers that you're going to get to hear from today, wishing everybody happy Thanksgiving and sending some thoughts and messages your way. Those are going to be woven out throughout the show today. Denny, where does Thanksgiving rank in your kind of holiday list of holidays that you like? Is it way up towards the top? Are you kind of a could take it or leave it type guy with Thanksgiving?
Nope, love it. Thanksgiving, I think I like Thanksgiving actually more than Christmas, because Christmas, you get all excited, and I love the decorating and, all these things, but then there's the stress involved. And what present do you buy for who? And if you didn't get the grandkid the right thing, are they going to be disappointed? So there's all those things built into it. Where Thanksgiving, you just get together and have a good meal.
Yep, just chow down.
I do have one big bitch about Thanksgiving, though. I've even tried finding another source to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, because it totally pisses me off that the talking heads are more, it's more important for them to talk to themselves and to show the clips of the new shows that are coming out this season on blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. Show me the parade.
Okay.
You'll see the band coming down towards the camera, and I'm thinking, all right, cool, because I grew up a musician. I'm thinking, all right, here's the band. Oh, we're going to cut the commercial. Or let's catch this latest clip on Law and Order. Screw you. I tuned in to watch the damn parade. Okay, I'll shut up now.
It sounds like you need to find a live feed without the overlay of the
I did
actual
last
TV
year. It was like somebody
broadcast.
holding a camera over somebody else's shoulder. You saw the back of this guy's head in the parade. But yeah, that's the way I watched it last year.
Serve the purpose there. Well, I know too, and you probably know this because you're a former radio broadcaster, but they do pair up a radio broadcast along with the Macy's Day Parade as well, don't they? Local broadcast there.
Well, if they do, I'm not seeing it.
Well, I think you might be able to find it streamed on their website or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to look around and see, because that is for instance, when I am really fed up when I'm watching my Oregon Ducks on TV at home, and I'm really fed up with the announcers, like last week where we are absolutely pounding Michigan. I mean, we've got them out behind the boathouse, and we are just taking it to them. And you listen to the play-by-play and the color analyst, and you would think that Michigan was in the game or that they were winning. And it really started to piss me off after a while, something about my blood being green and yellow. But I turn on the local radio broadcast and listen to the homers.
Yeah, that's kind of like when John Madden would be on a Dallas Cowboys game.
Oh, you're not a John Madden fan, huh?
Oh, hell no. That's when I just turned the sound down and watched the game.
I love Madden. I'll tell you, I love him. And I think what I love Madden, I love the impressions of Madden, I think, more than I like John Madden himself, because they're always so funny, What is it? Frank Caliendo does a great John Madden impression where he
was that the one talking about the turducken?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. He also had one that would say, if you get the ball here across the goal line there, that's gonna be that's a touchdown. Just real stuff like that. That's like is very. Yeah, we see it, John, but John was really good at painting the picture that everybody was already looking at. That's what I'll give him. Hall of Fame football coach, not the greatest TV announcer.
Nope. Especially if you're a Cowboy fan.
Well, Denny, nothing's gone well if you're a Cowboy fan for the last 30 years. I mean, let's face it.
I know. But, I'm not one that I'm going to jump teams just because they're not doing well this year or last year or the year before or 5 years ago.
I mean, between Jerry Jones and Keith
I'm
Richards.
I'm an Aggie fan. That ought to speak for itself right there.
It kind of does. But between Jerry Jones and Keith Richards, I'm not sure which one of them's going to be around longer, but they're going to continue to ruin things until they're gone, I think. And less so for Keith Richards, but
he's got a lot of preservatives in him.
Yeah, he sure does. And it's going to be him and the cockroaches after the nukes go off. Sitting here talking about the 60s. But listen, I'm not a Cowboys fan. As you guys know, I'm a diehard 49er fan. So Denny and I, this feud, we didn't even know we had it when we first met, but it goes back decades. So
I don't mind the 49ers. I've always liked the 49ers okay. I mean, if they're playing the Cowboys, obviously I'm not rooting for them. It's the freaking Redskins and Giants I can't stand.
What about the Eagles?
I know they changed their damn name, but they'll always be the Redskins.
Well, they're trying to change it back, from what I've heard. They've got actually some Native American tribes that are upset because that was what they considered was kind of honoring the team. So interesting to see how that will shape up.
Only one time in my life have I ever felt sorry or felt bad for the Redskins, and that was watching that clip of Joe Theismann over and over and over and over, getting his leg broken. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Good old Lawrence Taylor. We're dating ourselves now, Denny, because I think that was, 87, 86, something like that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think that just the amount of time
I go back
it took.
Further than you, that's for sure, you young thing.
It's true. All right. Well, we're a little off topic here. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Of course, it's Thanksgiving. Denny and I are going to talk football. That's a big part of it. If you would like to, interact with the podcast, see some of the stuff we've got going on, our fancy new website is really awesome, and a lot of people have been clicking on it. We're actually seeing really good response from the numbers, so I want to remind you to jump on over to podcast.hmtrucking.com to find all the stuff that's up there right now. We've got a bunch of newsletter stuff up there. There's some bios of us if you want to learn more about the people that are involved with the show or the people that have come on the show. And on top of that, we're going to keep adding content to this. So if there's something that you want to see, send us an email, get in touch with Eve, get in touch with Sherry, let them know. If you've got my cell phone number, which many of you do, I'm always open for suggestion. Tell us how we can make that website better because that is going to be our hub for the H&M Trucking podcast. And right now, actually, and through the month of November, you can go up there and check out all of the pictures of the veterans that work for H&M that sent us pictures. We're keeping our Veterans Day kind of memorial up there for the entire month of November. So go over, once again, podcast.hmtrucking.com. You got to check that out. We got a great episode here today, Denny. We're actually having an H&M driver make his very first appearance on the show. And I discovered him from pictures of food that he and his wife were cooking on the truck. So can't wait to talk to this guy and learn more about his culinary exploits because that bowl of chili that I looked at, you could have dumped it right on my head and it would have been just a standard good Friday night for me, Denny. So I can't wait to talk to driver Mike Perrone here in just a couple minutes and maybe pick up a few things. The drivers think that I'm just being welcoming and genuine when I have you on to talk about food. I'm stealing your recipes. I'm being honest with you when I say I'm taking all of it. And I'm sorry, I'm also probably not going to give credit when I present it to my wife and she loves it. I gotta take those points. I don't know, Denny. Am I out of line there?
Gotta love some good chili, man.
Well, yeah, and I think that we're gonna have a little chili debate here coming up in a few minutes because your thoughts on chili are different than my thoughts on chili, Denny.
Well, I am from Texas. That's where it's from. It was invented here.
Well, let's see what Mike has to say about this. Let's go ahead and bring Mike in right here because I think Mike is gonna have some thoughts as he's got some experience as well. It's our driver profile coming up right now for our Thanksgiving episode with H&M Driver Mike Perrone. Check it out.
From Omaha, Nebraska, to whatever lane you're driving, this is the H&M Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
Welcome back to the H&M Trucking Podcast. I'm just sitting here laughing because off air here right before we started, Denny was brushing out his beard, and I got my own little ASMR show. Denny, do you know what ASMR is?
Have no idea.
It's this trend on the internet where people will get really sensitive microphones and they will do things like you just did, brush their beard in it, or they'll tick their fingernails along the mic or anything. And it's a very it's auditory stimulation, I think, is what the AS stands for.
You're really bored, aren't you?
Hey, I will tell you, man, I've gotten down a rabbit hole with this stuff before, and the other thing they do is they whisper. They don't ever talk loud. They just whisper. It is in both lanes, Denny. It's soothing and it's also terrifying. I don't know why I like it, but I do. So anytime you want to brush your beard,
I can't hear anybody whisper anymore without that guy that you hear all over the country. I ain't got no panties on.
He's old mud duck in the desert, right? All right. Well, hey, we got an H&M driver joining us today, all beard brushing aside, which, by the way, if you don't check these videos out on YouTube, you should go over there and check it out, because Denny and I, we bring it when it comes to the beard game, okay? And I'm not going to throw my shoulder out patting each other on the back here, but it's two pretty good beards on this show. That's all I'll have to say. Let's get to our driver, H&M Driver, making his first appearance here on the podcast, and we are going to talk a little bit of food. Mike Perrone is on the line with us. Mike, thanks for being here today.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Awesome, thank you. Really happy that you're here with us, and I will just come right out and say it. The whole reason that we are talking to you right now is your wife made a post on H&M Trucking Friends, and she posted this picture of some phenomenal, it looks like maybe chili or maybe some calico beans or something like that. And I saw
that was chili beans.
Oh, my God, Mike. I saw that picture, and I thought, I got to have them on, if nothing else, just to steal that recipe.
Oh, yeah, man, definitely. That's one of our favorites to cook out here on the road. It's real easy to do. It's easy cleanup. I was a chef for 15 years prior to getting into trucking, so
really,
got a little culinary experience, yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting because, you know, we had a couple weeks ago, we had Eric King on the show, and Eric was also a trained chef. So what I'm finding out here is that the H&M trucking drivers probably eat better than drivers of any other fleet, is what it sounds like.
Well, yeah, possibly.
So the now I will ask this because your wife posted the picture. I know she's not a driver. Does she ride along with you all the time, Mike, or is that just a once in a while deal?
No, she rides out with me quite often. Keeps me company, somebody to hang out with. It's great. I enjoy it. She enjoys it. Gets to see the country.
Oh, I bet. And just to have somebody to talk to and not just sit there lost in thought all the time, I imagine that probably makes the days go by a little quicker.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Denny,
long days out here.
Did you were always riding by yourself? I know a couple of times you had somebody along with you. Was there ever a time when you were driving during your career, Denny, that you kind of wished you had somebody there?
Well, Dawn and I talked about it way back when, but a couple of short runs, and I figured out real quick that I can't make any money if I got to stop every hour and a half, 2 hours for her to pee.
Okay. All right.
I feel you on that, buddy.
Yeah. Does it change up your schedule very much, Mike, or is it just making that concession every now and then?
It hasn't changed my schedule. I just make her hold it and we keep going.
Okay. Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, so talk me through a little bit. You said 15 years you were a chef before you got into truck driving. What kind of restaurants did you work in? How'd you get started? Did you go to culinary school? What was kind of the career path when we're talking about being in the restaurant industry?
Well, I started out, my dad was a chef, so I was always in the kitchen with him, helping him out. And then just had a passion for it. And then he passed away with cancer and I lost my passion. But I still cooked for the family, and my youngest daughter, my middle daughter, and my son, they all love to cook too. So kind of just runs in the family. We all cook. I started out as a busboy in a restaurant, seafood restaurant down here in North Carolina. And I just love watching the guys cook. And my dad was a chef, so I always watched him cook. And I just had a passion for it. And I went to Norfolk up to Johnson and Wales and did my stuff there. And then I was at Shambourne Bistro. And then Williamsburg, I did my internship. And then went from there and just cooked all around the East Coast for a while here in North Carolina. I opened up a couple of restaurants, hard open, but some of the restaurants opened up the Carrabba's in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Just had a blast with it. So I do French, Italian, American, of course, and I've got some Southwestern experience, but not much.
Well, I'm sure with all that training and experience, you could probably take a jar of mayonnaise and a pickle and make it taste good, Mike, to be honest with you. I always marvel at people like yourself that have had so much extensive training and so much experience in so many different kitchens. Denny and I talk about enjoying our time in the kitchen on this show quite frequently, and I got to be honest with you, if you watched me, you would be like, this guy doesn't know anything, because it's all just guesswork for me. I've had no formal training. I learned from my mother to cook by smell. I mean, I don't even really taste my food as I'm cooking it. I track it by the way that it smells. So I think that's really cool. And I'm sorry that you kind of lost the passion there when you lost your father. I know that stuff can be very hard to get through. And it just decided after that you didn't want to cook anymore. And is that when you jumped into trucking?
I actually went into satellite business for 10 years after cooking, and then got tired and burned out on driving all over the place, not making any money in the satellite business. I mean, it was good for a while there, but then streaming came out. So streaming took over satellite dishes, and just decided one day, I said, well, I'm driving all the time anyway. I might as well go out and get my CDL and go see the country and drive that way. That's what I did.
And how long have you been driving for?
7 years now.
Awesome. So you're settled in. You're where you want to be now, it sounds like.
Oh, definitely, man. H&M is probably absolutely the best company that I've worked for so far. I mean, they are hands down the greatest company. They look out for their drivers. I mean, James has got nice trucks. I mean, these 860 Volvos, you can't ask for a better truck. The freight's always there. They keep us moving. They have no problem getting me home. I got all the support team I need in the office. They're super great. And when you call them, you're not a number. They speak to you as a human. They call you Mike. I mean, it's a wonderful feeling when you're not a number in a truck.
Absolutely. Denny, I'm sure you can speak to that. You're sitting there nodding your head along, agreeing with Mike.
Good to know things haven't changed, because that's why I stayed with them for over 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Stacy was your driver manager, right?
Absolutely.
Denny?
The entire time I was there.
Yep, she's my driver manager, and she's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, Stacy gets a lot of flowers on this show. I'm not going to lie, because I think Denny, that's his first pick, hands down. Like he said, she was with you the entire time you were there. You've spoken very highly of her, Denny. Mike, you're definitely not the first active driver to speak highly of Stacy. I feel like we need to get her back on here and pat her on the back on the show again, because it's been a little while, and she was a great interview when we had her.
She's awesome. She's great.
She was a little shy, Denny. I think she was guarded because you were there and you guys had such a good relationship. She doesn't know what kind of tea you're going to spill about her, you know?
I think it might be the other way around.
I guess. All right. So, talk to me about, well, first of all, this is kind of interesting. I do want to mention this because I learned this in your wife Jennifer's Facebook post. Your brother-in-law, Corey Stewart, actually works for H&M Trucking as well.
Yeah, he's been here almost a month now. I brought him on. Once I got on here, I told him about it, and he was like all hands down, ready to go. So I got him signed up, and he's now out here running with H&M.
That's awesome, man. Nothing better than a good family referral like that. We'll have to get Corey on the show here once he's got his feet wet a little bit and feels comfortable coming on. We'd love to have him to see how the experience has been. Was he a driver before he joined H&M? Yeah,
he worked with CFI.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about the food in the truck, because this is our Thanksgiving episode, Mike. We're recording it a little bit before Thanksgiving here, but when I saw the post that your wife made, I looked at that chili. I wanted to swim in it, and it looks phenomenal. So, talk to me. Do you guys cook something kind of this extravagant and this involved every night? Is it something where you don't like to eat out at all when you're out on the road? How do you and your wife approach it when you're out there?
Oh, we try to eat as much as we can on the truck just to save the money, and it's much healthier. Denny will tell you, there's no diners out here anymore, and the truck food at the truck stops is horrible. It's fast food. It makes you tired. It's full of all kind of bad chemicals. We're not big fast food eaters, so we try to cook on the truck. So I try to cook something at least 2-3 times a week, and we'll have leftovers. And I'll take leftovers and turn it into another meal. So
that's great, man. And you know, one aspect about that about that truck stop food, I feel like they should put an odometer on the hot dog roller so we can see how many miles those things have tacked up before they find their way to a bun in my mouth. Because some of them look like they've been there for a couple years. Denny, you're shaking your head there. You ever run across a bad roller dog at a Love's?
Man, I try to stay away from the roller grill. The only thing I found I like on them are those buffalo chicken things. And Gilly loved those damn things. If I got him, he wouldn't leave me alone. I'm trying to get in the truck and get moving down the road, and he's up on me going, "Hey, Dad, I smell that. Give me some."
I love it. I love it. So
there's still a few decent restaurants out there, but man, they're harder and harder to find these days.
They really are. They're harder to get to.
Yeah, kind of removed off the beaten path a little bit. I'm just not imagining, because I don't see very many of them out here in Oregon. I mean, precious few, maybe one or two real bona fide diners, you know? And there's something about, I have this big soft spot in my heart for a good greasy spoon diner. Like, I think about some of the old scenes from movies when they would throw a big brick of Crisco on the flat top, you know, and that would be like the beginning of a shot in a diner. I don't know what it is about that Crisco. It probably isn't great for my heart, but God damn it makes those hash browns taste good.
Well, you're talking about, you know, him being a chef and all. I'm like, I'm a cook. He's a chef. He's in this fancy stuff. I'm more like you keep a little bit of bacon and onion going in the corner of the grill because that makes everybody hungry.
That sounds like a good trick there, Denny. So, Mike, with Thanksgiving coming up, are you going to be on home time for Thanksgiving, or are you and your wife going to be out on the road?
We're going to be at home time. Matter of fact, me and my son, we were going over the menu last night. I got to come home and deep fry turkeys. He's doing collards and potato salad and mashed potatoes and deviled eggs. And I mean, my youngest daughter, she's in charge of all the desserts. So she's making pumpkin rolls and pumpkin pies, apple pies. I told somebody last night they had to come up with some banana pudding. Somebody was in charge for some banana pudding, because if I got to come home, I'm getting some banana pudding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you like Nilla wafers in your banana pudding? I got a friend that makes them. He tops them with Nilla wafers, and it's amazing.
The only way to eat banana pudding.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Glad to hear it, man. So that's great that you've got a whole family that's all about cooking. So you're going to have a lot of help for Thanksgiving, and from the sounds of it, you guys are making a lot of food. Are you having a big get-together, or is it just like to have a big spread so everybody can have a little bit of everything?
Oh, I think there's 22 of us or 24 of us this year.
Wow.
All together. Yeah.
Wow, it's a good thing you got a team in that kitchen, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've got 5 grandchildren. We have 4 children, and then siblings. And Jennifer's got 5 siblings. I have 1. And we're all getting together, and we're going to have a big cookout. I mean, it's just going to be a good shindig cookout.
That's awesome. Now, is that kind of a tradition for your family around Thanksgiving, getting a lot of people together like that? Oh,
yeah. Thanksgiving and Christmas, we all try to get together.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And do you guys have any family traditions at that get-together that you like to do? You got a turkey bowl, or you guys like to, you know, have some cranberry vodka and fight about politics? What's what happens around the Perrone house during Thanksgiving?
Oh, we all watch football and argue about who's going to win.
Okay. True American stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
and then, of course, we're chasing all the grandkids around, so
Yeah, that's true. And how much fun has that been as you've got to watch those guys grow up?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And the good thing about it is you can give them back. They don't come. They don't have to be with you all the time. You just give them back. You spoil them and send them home.
Yep. Denny's a grandpa. He knows all about shipping them back.
Yeah.
That's the best part. If they smell bad or act out, Mama, take over.
Yep.
I love it. And maybe if you're lucky, you send them with a bill for postage and handling too. Pick up a little scrape for the trouble.
There you go.
So how about we talk a little bit, actually, before we get to actual recipes here, I got a question for both of you guys. And the basis for the question comes from, I want to ask you guys, what's the one thing that has to be on the table at your Thanksgiving without fail? So think about that for a second while you're answering me.
Cornbread dressing.
That's it, cornbread dressing?
Yeah. That's it. I don't have to think about it. Dawn asks me almost every year, what do you want? What do you have to have? I'm like, cornbread dressing and a big glass of white milk. I'm happy.
There you go. That and collards. Got to have collard greens.
I'm surprised here because, a lot of times people are going with either, I got to have some dark meat. I got to have that, the mashed potatoes and gravy. You guys are kind of going off the beaten path here, but that must mean that it's one hell of a side item. I've never had cornbread pudding before.
Yankee.
Cornbread stuffing? You never had cornbread stuffing?
I've never had corn. I've had a lot of stuffing. I've just never had anybody that's made it with cornbread before. I love cornbread. In fact,
God.
We're making some this weekend because I'm doing my own chili for the tailgate for the Oregon Ducks game this weekend. In fact, I got to go make that later today. But I've never done cornbread stuffing. It sounds delicious.
Oh, yes.
You know the difference between a Yankee and a damn Yankee? Damn Yankee won't go home.
That's right.
So I'm a Yankee because I haven't had cornbread stuffing, Denny. That's one of the things that makes you a Yankee.
I don't know. I tease Dawn all the time because if I make a pot of beans, peas, she puts vinegar in it. I'm like, what the hell? Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's not. I'm with you on that. Yeah, Dawn's a Yankee, not me. I'm not a Yankee. That's Dawn. Well, okay, so the cornbread stuffing, that's the staple for you guys. For me, it's my mom's twice-baked potatoes, without question. We really only get them around the holidays. Of course, it's a bit of an undertaking, and she puts a lot of work into it, but those twice-baked potatoes, a little bit of gravy, shut the front door. Okay, so here's a question I have for you guys that's kind of been weighing on me a little bit because, Denny, this might actually show a little bit more of my Yankee side. Is macaroni and cheese on the table for you guys for Thanksgiving? Because I'll be honest with you, as a West Coast kid and 40 Thanksgivings under my belt, I don't remember a single one where macaroni and cheese has been there. I'm a little disappointed in that. I would like it. I love me a good macaroni and cheese, but that's not a staple on Thanksgiving tables on this side of the country, so I wonder what it's like for you, Mike.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Down here in the South, everybody's got mac and cheese.
And it's just expected. That's not something. It's like mashed potatoes. It's just going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, Denny.
Only if my son Zach makes it. He makes the best macaroni and cheese ever. He was a chef as well, and it's not the stuff in the blue and yellow box. Trust me.
Okay, right. Because that's kind of was going to be my next question because I had a driver a couple days ago tell me. He's going home for Thanksgiving, and he's making double smoked, like 4 cheese macaroni and cheese. Like, he
does that. He puts like 4 different cheeses in it. He puts it out on the smoker. It's a whole different level.
That's the way to go. Yeah. Okay, all right. So Mike, do you have a macaroni and cheese recipe? Being a trained chef, that you prefer?
I do, but I don't like macaroni and cheese, so I cook it for the family, but it's a bunch of cheese, and I just throw it on the grill, let it simmer all afternoon, and they tear it up. I'm not a big mac and cheese eater, but everybody in the family loves mac and cheese.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, listen, I must be a little bit of a Yankee, but I will try to implement the macaroni, because, listen, when is macaroni and cheese? I mean, if in your case, Mike, you don't like it, I understand that, but for me, macaroni and cheese is never not gone with anything. I mean, I will eat a side of macaroni and cheese with a bowl of cereal. It's that good. Denny, you don't like the box stuff. I get that, but I'll be honest with you. 2, 3 in the morning after a long night of drinking at a football game, there's few things better than that box of macaroni and cheese if you can still read the instructions.
Well, I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm just, for a holiday meal, no, that's not acceptable. It's got to be the good stuff. You know, the basics, at least in Texas where I grew up, you either had turkey or ham. And, of course, Dawn is going to make both, even if there's only 4 people going to be at the table. She's going to make both. The green bean casserole has got to be on the table for her.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She's going to make some kind of sweet potato yam thing that looks like vomit in a bowl as far as I'm concerned, but they all like it. What else? Mashed potatoes. I have to make the gravy. Usually I cook at home, but the only thing I cook on holidays is the gravy because she can't make gravy. So she'll holler at me and go, "Hey, it's going to be ready in a little bit. Can you come make the gravy?" So I'll get up from the football game and go make gravy. But that's her passion on the holidays is entertaining. She'll make, 3 or 4 pies. Like I said, this year there's only going to be 4 of us. We're going to be eating leftovers till Christmas.
Perfect. Perfect. I love it.
What Thanksgiving means to me? A chance to rid myself of negative distractions and focus on what's truly important and brings joy to my life. Things like family, friends, our dogs, music, reading and learning, the opportunity to give something back and make the world a better place. Now that could be as easy as paying for a stranger's coffee or as monumental as volunteering year after year to raise money for a great organization. For me, it was St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Also, those little everyday joys like my wife Dawn's laughter, seeing the deer early in the morning, a new picture of my grandson William, how the young boy next door I call Little Man runs to tell me hello every time he sees me, watching the older grandson Carter play football, and knowing how much it means to him that I'm there in the stands. Even a simple random memory can bring a smile to my heart. I know that life on the road, far from family, is challenging and often frustrating, but the blessings are there to be found. It may be a beautiful sunrise or a rainbow after the storm. Maybe that huge smile on the little one when you honk your air horn for him after he does the arm pump, or simply the chance to stop for a good hot meal. You may see the snow-capped Rockies against a brilliant blue sky or a sailboat on the Chesapeake Bay while crossing the Bay Bridge Tunnel. Positive, uplifting things are always there to be found if you'll only search for them. My wish is that you're able to find these small, everyday joys in your life and allow your heart to smile. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey everybody, it's Michaela from Recruiting. Just wanted to wish everybody a really safe Thanksgiving, and I hope everyone is able to get home to see their friends and their family, and I just hope everyone stays really safe. I'm not going to do much, but I'm going to say what that lady said on YouTube. I'm just going to eat bread all day and get fat and sassy. So I hope all of you guys do that too and eat lots of food, and I wish everybody happy holidays and a great Thanksgiving, and eat lots of food, and feel free to come in the office and visit us. If you guys are around during the holidays, we'd love to see you, and everybody stay safe.
Hi, I'm Sherry Vogler. I'm with Recruiting. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving holiday. I have been reflecting a little bit on all the things that we have to be thankful for. I have a new grandson. I have another grandson who's 2 years old. I have 2 daughters, wonderful son-in-law. Also have a soon-to-be son-in-law, and lots of love and special people in my life. If you have talked to me this year or touched my life this year, I just want to say thank you. And I'm thankful for the positive impact that everybody has had in my life. I just want to remind everybody to cherish the people who bring joy, kindness, and inspiration to your life. There's so many of you out there. I wouldn't be able to thank you guys individually. I hope your Thanksgiving is filled with love and laughter, delicious food, and meaningful time with the people you love. Happy Thanksgiving.
This is Tim Kruger from JFL Logistics. I just want to give a message out to all the drivers of H&M Trucking. You do all the great work that they do each and every day for us. Also want to say thank you to all your families as well. On the JFL side, I just want to say thank you to my entire staff here who work endless hours to get the product we need out. Also to our carriers that we work with, all the customers we work with. We just want to say thank you, and I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving.
This is Jay with the Hopper Department. I'm just letting you guys know I'm very thankful for everything that you do, whether that be safety, making sure you're delivering on time, communicating with us. We're very thankful, and we see the sacrifices. And I just want you to know we appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you.
This is Brenda Hampton with the Hopper Division, and I'd like to just say to the Hopper team that we would like to thank each and every driver for the thousands of miles they drive. Thanksgiving wouldn't be possible without the trucking industry or the truck drivers. This holiday is about being grateful, so we all have so much to be thankful for. Thank you, truck drivers, for your time, effort, and all that you do. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, this is Cameron from H&M, the Hopper Division side. Look, with Thanksgiving coming up, I want everybody to understand and reflect on what they're thankful for. Please, take time to do. Wake up, look at the sunrise, be thankful for what you have in your life. Your wife, your husband, your kids, your fathers, mothers, your sisters, brothers, your friends, co-workers, the ones that even ignore you, the ones that make your life easier. Take it all in and be thankful that you get to wake up. Be thankful that you get to have a job. Be thankful that you get to interact with people. Be thankful that you got food, and be thankful you got clothes and shoes. Just take it in and be thankful for what you have in your life. Bye, Marcus.
Hey drivers, it's Destiny with H&M. I'm the safety claims specialist. I just want to say thank you to all our awesome drivers. You guys make my job awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. You're the reason why I love waking up and coming to work every single day. So I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving and everyone gets home safe to your families.
This is Eric King, driver 2201. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone at H&M, family and friends. I want to give a shout out to my wife, Christine, my kids, Isabella, Thanos, Nate, and Maisie. I appreciate everything that you all do when I'm going away from the house. It's not easy. I know it's not. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love y'all. I want to shout out to my brother in Belmont, North Carolina, Aaron, and his wife, Monica. And I want to give a shout out to my parents in Largo, Florida. My dad just turned 80 years old, and thank God for that. I also want to give a shout out to my coworkers, Stacy, for being an awesome, really awesome dispatcher. Safety, Destiny, Sissy, and Shelly, thank you for keeping it safe, even when I could be at Thorn sometimes. Thank you. Speaking of Thorn, thank you, Sherry and Kayla, for hiring me, because now I can be at Thorn and A1 side. Now, I'm very thankful for James for taking a chance on me. Even though he's a Navy guy, he's not all of that best. Appreciate it. God bless everyone. Marcus, we love you, brother. Go Ducks, especially for dinner. Everything is good.
This is Eve Estery, Chief People Officer from H&M, and I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of our office staff, our drivers, their families. We're really appreciative of all of you and everything that you do. I just want to say thank you for everything. Thanks for all you do. I understand that it's not easy out there, and it's not easy also at home, being the family at home on the other side of that. So we appreciate all of you, and we appreciate everything that you do for us and our families as well at H&M, and hope you have a great holiday season. I'd also like to wish my own family a happy holidays. We're a little spread out this year, so wherever they happen to be this year, happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Great job, and have fun, Mike.
He will hear that. I'm sure he will enjoy. This will be his favorite one for sure. So.
I don't know why she insists on having a ham and a turkey. I'm like, why don't we have like turkey for Thanksgiving and ham for Christmas? Nope, got to have both.
Yeah,
okay.
Variety's the spice of life, Denny. Don't mess with the process here, okay? This is.
Yeah, but my wife doesn't like leftovers. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
So if I'm going to make anything with leftovers, I have to turn it into something completely different.
Yep.
And that becomes a challenge when you got like 6 pounds of freaking turkey left.
So, and I don't know if this would work because I've never tried it before, but I cooked up this little concoction in my head, and maybe you've done something similar. But I was thinking about like an enchilada tray with turkey and stuffing and cranberry sauce and some mashed potato all rolled up in the enchiladas. And then instead of enchilada sauce, you do gravy over the top of it, sprinkle some cheese, and bake that off in the oven real quick for some leftover
sounds like
turkey
some kind
enchiladas.
of hillbilly burrito.
That sounds like a good idea.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. See, a trained chef just said that, America. I am certified. I kind of know what I'm doing in the kitchen.
Well, there is a thing called King Ranch casserole that's usually made with chicken, but that's one of the leftover recipes is King Ranch casserole and turkey tetrazzini and turkey noodle soup. And
oh, turkey noodle soup's great. You take the carcass and just boil it off for after you've carved the turkey, and you've got a great broth there.
Oh, yeah.
So, Denny, I did have one question about the gravy. Is it that Dawn can't make the gravy, or is it that she can make it and you just didn't like it, so she made it your job now so that you don't complain to her?
No, that's what she blames or accuses me of all the time. But no, she's never had any success making gravy. And okay, Chef Boy's gonna cringe here, but I do know how to make a roux, but I'm lazy. So the way I make my gravy is I take the flour and the milk or whatever, and I put it in a jar and shake it up so I don't have any lumps and dump it in the skillet.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, the French
I told you he
trained
was going to
chef and
cringe.
Mike.
I told you he was going to cringe.
He's over there with goosebumps right now, and the hair's standing up on the back of his neck. It's great. So, Mike, I want to ask you as a trained chef, since we're kind of, Denny and I, we know our way around the kitchen, but it's kind of like bumper bowling for me. If there's not some guidelines and some guidance, I can light things on fire really fast. What's one piece of advice that you might give somebody that's trying to cook for as many people as you're going to be cooking for? You got 24 people coming over this year. Talk to me like I've got to cook for that many people. What would you advise me on being the trained chef that you are when I'm looking at this mountain I'm about to climb?
1.5 pounds of food for everybody that's eating.
Interesting. I've never thought about the portions before. I've always just looked at it. So 1.5 pounds is that kind of standard?
Yeah, you figure the average person is going to eat at least 8 ounces of meat. Add the rest of your sides, your potatoes, your deviled eggs, your cranberry sauce, your dressing, your collards, your greens, your whatever you're cooking. That makes up the other pound. So you figure 1.5 pounds for everybody that's coming to your house to eat, and nobody will go away hungry, and you'll still have leftovers they can send home with a doggy bag.
That's perfect. That's such good advice. And Denny, in your case, it sounds like it's going to be about 4.5 pounds of food for each person. But you got your work cut out for you.
My niece was going to bring her boyfriend, but she broke up with him. And he's a human garbage disposal. So we were wondering, even with a full turkey and a full ham, if we were going to have enough food. Scout's honor. I do not lie about this. We'll go out to eat. And everybody finishes, and there's a few bites left on this plate and a half a plate over there, and he's asking, "You gonna finish that?" He will literally finish everybody's plate. There's not anything left on the table. This boy can put away some groceries, but anyway, he's not gonna be there. I do have a question for the two of y'all, because where I grew up, it was family and close friends that might as well have been family that would join for holidays, and it wasn't exactly a potluck, but it leaned towards that. In other words, the host would have the main dish, the turkey or whatever, but everybody else brought a side. Maybe so-and-so made the best green bean casserole, and this mama made the best cornbread dressing. So everybody brought stuff, and it was, in a sense, kind of like a potluck. My wife thinks that's rude. She says, you can't invite people over and ask them to bring something.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, how do y'all feel on that subject?
Mike, go ahead.
You better bring something.
You're getting a second invite to Mike's house. You better come loaded for bear, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean,
We would take that like a barbecue. Like if we're gonna fire up the smoker, and I mean a true smoker, where you got hickory or oak or something going in this. If you're gonna fire up this big old piece, then anybody wants to come over can throw their meat on. Same thing there with my
absolutely.
wife. You can't have somebody come and tell them to bring their own meat. Like you're gonna fire up this smoker just for a half a brisket, you know?
I mean, if they want to bring their own meat, I say bring it. Because, listen, as far as dietary restrictions and things like that are concerned, that's one thing I've learned out at the tailgate that, like, I had a poor, innocent vegetarian walk up to me once and say, hey, I'm vegetarian. And I had to look at that person and say, I don't have anything you can eat here. I'm very sorry.
You're in the wrong house.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Everything's meat. I really am sorry. But, you know, I also kind of come from the school of thought, Denny, where it's impolite if you get invited to somebody's house and you don't bring something.
Hello.
That's the way I was raised.
Right. Even if it's just a bottle of wine to share, or you just bring over something that can sit on the table and be,
you could depend on the bachelors and stuff to bring rolls and chips and dip and things like that to round things out.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're grilling your tailgate or whatever, I got something Dad used to make that it's the only way I've ever been able to choke down asparagus. He would marinate them overnight in Thousand Island dressing or Italian dressing. It was Italian dressing. Marinate them overnight, throw them on the grill. Best asparagus, the only asparagus I would ever eat. So there you go. You got something for your vegetarian California yuppie weird people.
Hey, take it easy on me. I'm north of that god-awful state, all right? We try everything.
Yeah, but you're not in there. You're not included. We're not going to throw you under there yet.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Now, I will admit, my state has done everything it can for my entire life to be as much like California as possible, but we got way better geography up here and way less assholes, if you want my honest opinion, okay?
Definitely.
I will defend Oregon to the death. Sorry, Denny.
I want some of that fried turkey. I'm sorry. I
No,
got distracted.
These conversations have a way of making me hungry.
I'll come down there to Texas when I come. I'll get Stacy to send me down there to Texas. I'll bring you some.
Oh,
hot
you
damn!
just got hooked
I'm
up.
excited
See?
now.
That's
I've
not
been
fair.
looking for somebody around town that fries turkey. When we moved to Tennessee, from Tennessee, we were trying to downsize, and I got rid of my crab boil / turkey frying pot. And so I was looking for somebody around town that did it, and I can't find anybody. They'll smoke them, but nobody around here is deep frying them. And
Which
I
is
don't want to
crazy.
buy another rig. You know, unless you got a bunch of friends to get together to buy the peanut oil, it's not worth it. You know, by the time you buy the oil to fry one turkey, it's like $40. Probably a lot more than that now.
It's
but
true.
if you got
probably
6 or
is,
8
but it's
friends that
worth
are
it.
going to do it, you get together, buy a case, have fun.
Yeah. No, but Mike, you bring up a good point. A good fried turkey, man, it's tough to beat. Last year, I was in charge of the turkey, and I injected the whole bird like 19 times with just butter and maple syrup. I mean, until it was bursting at every seam, and then I smoked it on my Traeger, and it turned out really well. I mean, I really enjoyed
Did he
it.
say injected with maple syrup? Is that
Maple
what I
and
heard?
butter.
That's what I was wondering. I thought I heard that right. What in the world is that?
So
That's some of that Yankee shit.
I melted butter, and I put probably half a cup of maple syrup in it. And I'll tell you guys, so we used a kind of a little bit of a spicy rub on the outside, not like hot, but just a little bit of kick to it. And then I injected that bird with butter, which, Mike, you can tell me, like, injecting a turkey with melted butter is pretty normal, right?
Yes and no, because you're already cooking it in fat. How much fat do you want to get?
Well, I was aiming for all the fat last year. I'll be honest with you. I didn't. Really... nobody gave me any guide. Once again, if you don't put up the bumper rails, I will throw this ball into the gutter, trying new things. But it turned out really well, man. It was just the right amount of sweet and spice. It was super juicy. It was so tender. But even though that one was probably one of my favorites and the best I've ever done, I think I still prefer a fried turkey over a smoked one. Which again, I mean, how much healthier is it for you? Not, but hey, You get a bite of that crispy.
You do it
turkey skin,
right.
man.
You're not that oil is not penetrating that much. It's just going to crisp the crust
Right.
and cook the inside.
That's it.
Okay, so it's arguable that I might have made an unhealthier turkey by not frying it and injecting it with pounds of butter and maple syrup. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as I've got the chef to tell me, right? I knew I wasn't going to hit on all these, Denny.
I'm thinking more like, Zatarans or Creole seasoning or something in there, not maple syrup.
Well, have you never had a honey roasted turkey? Honey roasted turkey breast? Like, that's pretty normal. So it's just maple syrup's just a little bit stronger flavor than honey. That's all. I feel like you guys are both trying to put me on Mars here when really I'm like only as far away as the moon, okay? But
I've just never heard of a maple injected turkey, but hey, each their own.
Yeah,
It works
each
for
their
you.
own.
The only way you
I'd be
learn.
willing to try a bite.
What you guys
Yeah.
didn't hear there is Mike said, each to their own, and then he turned to his wife and said, "Goddamn Yankee." But so, all right. So we've covered your advice for a chef. We've covered, what you guys are making and all that stuff. What else, Denny? I mean, I asked Mike about traditions at his house. You guys have any big traditions, Denny? Any, like, you playing games? I'm trying to find somebody to tell me that they've got a turkey bowl and they're out there stiff-arming grandkids, but it sounds like you guys keep most of the fun inside.
No, I guess the long-term tradition, which got taken away years ago but is sort of half-assed come back, is Texas A&M and T-SIPs, the University of Texas game, which was always on Thanksgiving Day. Now they finally got back in the same conference, but I think it's going to be held on Saturday. Of course, we're going to probably gather around the TV and watch the Cowboys lose again this year, but
Well, that's become a
There you go.
time-honored.
Well, they always lose.
Yeah, that's a time-honored
Man,
tradition at
it's-
this point.
It's been sad this year. The other tradition is to pull up that old episode of WKRP in Cincinnati and watch the turkey drop.
What's the turkey
Yeah.
drop?
Oh my God!
Well, no, hey, come on now. I'm a Yankee. Educate me.
Yankee had nothing to do with it. Didn't you ever watch WKRP in Cincinnati? Are you too young for that? You're a baby.
Well, let's talk
He's
about.
too young for that.
I only had 20 channels when I was in Little Enterprise, Oregon, growing up, and one of them wasn't
right.
WKRP Cincinnati.
You got to find it. I'm sure it's probably on YouTube, but there's an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati when they're gonna throw turkeys out of a helicopter, and
Yes.
I guess one of the lines in it that's classic is, "As God is my witness, I swear I thought turkeys could fly," because they chunked them out of this helicopter and they started going plop all over the parking lot.
They were live turkeys? I thought you were talking about just dropping a bunch of bagged turkeys that were already dead. This wasn't a turkey drop. This was a mass execution.
Okay, now you got to watch it.
Okay, absolutely. I'm in now. You won me over. This kind of has
Don's even
shades
got
of
the T-shirt, man.
Oh, my God. So, Mike, it sounds like you've watched this a time or two as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm definitely making this a point. We're going to try to get a link to that up on the website, too, so that you guys can watch it when you hear this episode. You can head over to podcast.hmtrucking.com and check out the turkey drop video. It kind of reminds me of a anniversary that we celebrate here in Oregon every single year, which is the anniversary of the exploding whale. Do you guys know anything about the exploding whale here in Oregon?
Never heard that one.
I just got to keep my mouth shut because what popped into my head is not going to be politically correct. Just go ahead.
Good man, Danny. Good man. It's practicing restraint. I like that. We had back in the late 70s a whale wash up on the beach. I think it was a sperm whale, and it was too big for them to move it, and it was starting to rot, and it was causing an issue on a popular beach. So I believe it was the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife decided in their infinite wisdom to load the thing up with TNT and blow it up. And all that they did was cover the local town, Newport, Oregon, in whale guts. And it was catastrophic and bad in every way. But there is a video, very grainy one up there, of an exploding whale. And it's kind of when the anniversary comes around every year, the local baseball team, they change their name from the Emeralds to the Exploding Whales. It's kind of a time-honored tradition around here.
I would definitely have to check that out. I never heard
I
of
was
it.
thinking about who that guy pissed off. You want me to do what? You want me to shove dynamite up a whale's ass and light it?
It's either the very best or the very worst job somebody could have, and I haven't decided yet. If you're the plunger guy, and I don't mean the plunger to get the dynamite in there, I mean the plunger that actually blows the dynamite up, Denny. If you're the plunger guy, that's a pretty good day, but if you're the dynamite stuffer, yeah. Stuff that thing like a turkey, though. I've never seen something explode that big. Like, the fact that happened on a public beach and just left a crater of nothing but whale guts is quite fun. It sounds a little bit catastrophic, much like the turkey drop. We didn't expect all of these parts to be scattered around.
That'd spoil your Turkey Day appetite in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no joke, man.
Whale guts all over your front yard.
Yeah, no joke. Well, Mike, we've had you here for quite a bit now, man. I want to let you get back to work, but there's one more thing that I want to get to real quick. You talked about this chili. I'm sitting here staring at the picture right now that your wife shared. You said it was really easy, and it's a recipe that you guys really enjoy making. Is there any way you could walk us through that recipe real quick so that other drivers that might be cooking in the truck this week can maybe
chili.
try your recipe?
It's not chili. If it's got
hang on a
beans,
second.
It's not chili.
Yeah, there's a fight here, Mike. Denny is from Texas, as we talked about, with the whole Cowboys losing thing, and I also feel like he kind of loses this battle. He says that chili doesn't have beans in it. What? Can you tell me what's wrong with Denny?
He's from Texas.
Okay, it's that simple, huh? So, in your opinion, trained chef, Mike, chili has beans, obviously, because I'm sitting here looking at a picture.
Yeah, it's called chili beans. I mean, it's always been chili beans. So, I mean, that's just the way it is in the South.
Chili beans is not chili.
It is true. It's chili beans.
And you guys are calling me a Yankee. Listen to this argument we're having right now. Chili and chili beans. I like beans in my chili. In fact, my tailgate chili is a 3-bean chili. I use kidney, chili beans, and black beans in my tailgate chili.
Yeah, we use kidney beans, black beans, and pinto beans.
Pinto, yeah, nice. Okay, I like a good pinto bean. So what's the process here? It looks like maybe you throw this together in a crock pot?
No, in a pan. Do it real quick on the truck. It only takes a few minutes. I mean, now you can slow cook it in a crock pot all day if you got the time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get fed, showered, get my ass to bed. I got to work tomorrow. It's real easy. I mean, I have a little single burner hot plate. Plug it in, brown my meat, throw my onion in there, my peppers, get that all cooking up. Add my beans to it, but I drain my beans. I don't use the liquor out of my beans. They got to be drained. It gets too soupy that way. But that's that Texas style, so we'll let Denny tell you about that.
Okay, that's just it's meat sauce in Texas is what it sounds like to me.
And then you just add you some tomato sauce and Rotel with the chilies in it. I like my chili hot. My wife doesn't like it as hot, so I got to add extra hot stuff to mine at the end. But chili powder, little bit of Thai sweet chili sauce. I put that in there. It gives it the sweet, but the heat.
Okay.
And just let it cook for about an hour, and you're ready to eat. It's not that hard. It's easy, and you can do everything in one pot, so you're not making an abundance of mess on the truck. So, and I have 2 little wash pans. I boil water and wash my dishes and put them up. It's very simple, very easy. Anybody could do it. So,
absolutely. Well, I know Denny was a big stickler for cleaning up on the truck. In fact, when we've had you do Bill's Big Rig Cafe recipes here on the show, Denny, that's almost always something that you include kind of down at the bottom of your recipes is a few little pointers on easy cleanup.
Like I said earlier, I'm lazy. I like easy. I do want to add something to Chef Man's recipe here that might help. I used to buy that, and I know it's not like making it at home, but again, we're talking about cooking on the truck. I would buy that Jiffy instant cornbread mix, and I had a waffle maker on the truck. And you can mix that up, put it on a waffle maker, and you got cornbread.
Yep,
again, it's not like at home, but it's better than anything you're going to get off the roller grill, let me tell you.
Heck yeah.
That's right.
That's a fantastic idea. Well, thanks, guys. I really do appreciate it. And Mike, you're a better man than me, and you can tell that you're a trained chef. I like my chili spicy too, but I have some friends that have a spice threshold that is far beyond mine. And one time I just decided I'm not letting these idiots talk shit about my chili anymore, and I bumped up the heat to where it meets their expectations. Now I just have to serve it with a healthy dollop of sour cream for anybody that's not like that. But I feel like I probably should go the way you do. Those people should just add in some crazy hot sauce to appease their taste. Everybody else should get it kind of medium, but I don't know. It's kind of become a staple now to make I call it my Thunder from Down Under chili, to be honest with you, because that's kind of what it does. It's it's not day 2 friendly, okay? Let's just put it that way.
Oh, Lord, your poor wife.
Yeah, she puts up with a lot, Mike. She really does. I was thinking I bet your damn truck smells so good when you get done cooking this chili, because I'll cook my chili in a crock pot here tonight, and the whole entire house will smell good. No, it doesn't smell good?
Not the next day after all those beans.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, he's making day 2 jokes. Whatever. That comes with the territory, right?
That's air president.
Well, Mike Perrone, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here for your first appearance on the H&M Trucking podcast. Want to thank you, and also want to give you a chance to say anything you'd like. Obviously, it's our Thanksgiving episode today, so if you'd like to send friends and family a little message here before we let you go, or any of the fellow employees at H&M, I'll give you the floor. Thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing all your extensive chef knowledge and experience to our Thanksgiving episode, man. It's been awesome.
Thank you for having me, guys. And anybody that is around the Ocean Isle Beach area and you're hungry and you're out here trucking, you find me and stop by, and I'll feed you. I promise you.
There you go, man. Use that H&M Trucking Friends page to link up for stuff like that. It's a real good resource to find out and maybe meet some other drivers out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Mike, please stay safe out there. Happy Thanksgiving to you and all of your loved ones. We really appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys having me on, and you guys have a happy Thanksgiving and blessed families, and y'all be safe traveling if you are traveling, and enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family.
You too, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.
You too. Good meeting you.
Thank you, guys. Good meeting you guys. I hope to come back on soon.
Oh, we'll have a spot for you for sure, so you can come tell Denny how wrong his chili is. I can't wait. Okay, Denny, you and I have a little bit of a special segment here that we have to talk about, and it's kind of bittersweet, to be honest with you. For those of you that listen to this podcast frequently, you probably consume it as an audio product. Maybe you didn't even know that, yes, we have video of Denny's and my smiling faces on YouTube every single week in concert with our episode that we release. But Denny, I'll be honest with you, it hasn't popped. It's not something that the drivers are really utilizing. We haven't seen a lot of clicks from that, and I think that in the interest of time for the people that work on this, it's probably time for us to move on from the YouTube portion of this podcast. And I want to get your thoughts on this, because I know that the YouTube portion of our podcast is kind of near and dear to you. You are a weekly consumer of that.
Well, yeah, that's where I discovered it, so that's where I've always partaken, I guess. I mean, I know there's other ways to do it. I guess Spotify, but that's the way I just, I put it on in the living room. I've got it saved in my favorites or whatever you call it on YouTube. It's there every week.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, because I know that, it's when we were talking about doing this podcast from the very beginning, Denny, the one thing that we always came up against with the YouTube aspect is we're doing a podcast for truck drivers. Is it something that they're actually going to want to listen to in their off time when they're hopefully not thinking about work and they're trying to just make dinner and enjoy a little bit of time off? Or is it something
I'd listen to it when I'm rolling down the road? Help
that's
those
exactly
hours go by.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that what we're seeing after all of these episodes is that that's kind of what's happening. But it's not like, I don't want to treat this like a funeral, because the podcast isn't going to change at all. If you've consumed this podcast as an audio product since you started listening to it, nothing is going to change. You won't even notice a difference. And nothing's going to change for Denny and I either. We're still going to record these things with video just because the application that we use to do so makes it easy on us, and we might as well. It's not taking up storage on mine or Denny's computer.
Oh, man,
but
you mean I got to get dressed to do this now?
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I can't guarantee who's going to see the video, but you might want to have a conversation with our editor, Mike, because he'll have to see it. So send him a nice Christmas present if you do decide to come in here in your birthday suit. But what I really want, Denny, is I hope that the drivers get out of this is that we've kind of redirected our resources. We're going to let Haley, who's our awesome video editor, who's done a phenomenal job on every single video that's ever gone up on YouTube, whether it be the podcast video or the shorts that she makes. She does a great job. And be that as it may, she's needed to do that great job in other places. She's spending a lot of time editing podcast video, and it's just not really panning out for us as well as we thought it would. So we're going to let Haley go work for some other people and not work for another company. She's still a part of our family here, but she's going to take care of some other stuff and clear her plate off a little bit. And I'm happy for that, because the last thing I want to do is be a thorn in somebody's side, especially when they're staring at my face for hours every single week, Denny. That's a real tough part of this, is not only do these people have to listen to you and I, but they have to stare at us while they do it for hours on end. I don't envy that job.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, so I want everybody that is a YouTube fan of the podcast to start to navigate over to podcast.hmtrucking.com. That's kind of where the resources have shifted. And the reason that we made this decision is because when we launched the website a little while back, a month or two ago, our podcast listen numbers went through the roof. And it's a really cool place to interact. Like, that's what we wanted out of the YouTube video, was something that drivers could interact with. Well, they weren't really interacting with the YouTube video, but they're interacting in droves over at the website. So head on over to the website. If you are a YouTube person, just rather than opening up YouTube on your phone, head over to podcast.hmtrucking.com. You get all the info about the guests that we have, about that week's episode. We've got our Veterans Day pictures up there. This episode's going to be our Thanksgiving episode, so the Veterans Day pictures can still be seen up there with some really cool graphics and stuff. We've got some newsletter type stuff up there. It's just it's a one-stop shop for everything H&M Trucking podcast, and we just want all of our YouTube fans that made that part of their routine to head on over to the website instead, Denny, and check it out.
Well, would you put a, podcast for dummies link on there or something for me? So, do I need to download this before I set off to drive for the day? Or, because I don't know. I know a lot of drivers did, but I never listened to podcasts when I was driving. I just listened to my music mainly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, do I need to download the Spotify thing and then listen to it later on? Or is it something that's live streaming? Or, where do I click on it? I say Spotify, but that may not even be the right provider, if you will. So, walk us through it for us idiot old guys.
Absolutely. And that's the tough part about it. When you say Spotify might not even be the right one, it is the right one. There's just 20 different right ones that you can do. If you want to listen to it through Spotify, you're going to have to download the Spotify app and sign up with Spotify. You can get a free subscription there. It doesn't cost you anything. If you already are signed up on it, all you have to do is search the H&M Trucking podcast within Spotify, and it'll take you to our podcast feed, which will have all the episodes there. I think the reason that a lot of drivers are using the website is because it cuts out that extra step of having to even open Spotify or having to sign into Spotify. If you go to podcast.hmtrucking.com, Denny, you can just click the episode right there on the page, and it will just play the episode right there we have a player that's actually installed there on the web page. So if you don't want to have a Spotify membership, you don't have to. It's a lot like YouTube with this, where you can just go not be signed in and watch something if you want to. Our website's available to everybody, no sign-in required. Every episode right there, categorized for you. Maybe you just want to hear the episodes where we talked about winter driving. There's been quite a few of them in the past. You can go and select that you want to filter out everything but winter driving episodes, and it'll give you a playlist of episodes that just has what you want to listen to in it. So to give you a very long answer to your relatively short question, these are going to be streaming live right there on the webpage. All you got to do is click them, and it'll start playing for you. So It's a really cool thing. I got to be honest with you. Not that I didn't support the website. I've always thought websites are a great thing to have, but I didn't expect the response to the website, Denny, to be as big as it has been. I mean, it turned over like 300% more listeners in that first week or something like that. It was unbelievable how many people found it to be a better way to listen to our podcast. And so we got to dump our resources into the website for now. You and I keep doing what we're doing. Nothing changes in our day. We just have to make sure to direct drivers to the website as much as we can, which that's easy. So
cool.
Last time they're going to see our smiling faces, two guys that have been told for most of their lives that they have faces for radio and probably can't actually wait to get off camera and not come back for a while. I don't know how you feel about it, Denny, but the camera thing staring me in the face has always been the thing that makes me the most uneasy about this podcast.
Yeah, I agree with that face for radio thing.
Yeah.
Worked for a radio station years ago, and they put a camera up in the corner there pointed at the DJ. And I guess they were thinking about putting in a TV station or something, and they had to establish, I don't know, it was some legal thing, the reason they did it, but we ended up drawing stick figures and shit and setting a little tent folding piece of paper in front of the camera, like Denny's on now.
Yeah, those driver-facing
you
cameras,
can't scratch your ass, pick your nose, or nothing if you got a camera staring at you 24 hours a day.
Exactly, which is why we love H&M's no driver-facing camera policy, because they, drivers don't want to deal with that stuff either.
I told Dale when they started talking about cameras, I said, you do that, I'm gone. I'm serious. I love this company, but I don't want a camera on me. I'll either put a piece of duct tape over that lens or I'm out of here.
Yeah. And a lot of drivers feel the same way, man. And look, they don't know that you've just been dealing with that ever since we got you here on the podcast. It's been nothing but driver-facing camera for you.
Yeah, well, it's not 24/7.
Yeah, it's true. And I've only caught you picking your nose 6 or 7 times in all these episodes, so, it's not that bad. Yeah. Look, man, I get it. When I'm on a road trip, I'm a nose picker. I wouldn't want that camera looking at me either, and I wouldn't want anybody to see it. But there you go. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We've already been talking about this for 10 minutes, probably longer than we needed to, but no more podcast video for the H&M Trucking podcast on YouTube. If you want to check out everything that has to do with the H&M Trucking podcast, including getting in touch with Denny and I, if you'd like to come on the show or have an idea for us, something to talk about, head over to podcast.hmtrucking.com. We'll be right back. What does Thanksgiving mean to me? Honestly, it's all about family. When I was a child, we always celebrated Thanksgiving with large groups of friends. See, I grew up quite a ways away from a pretty large extended family. My dad has 4 brothers, and while we have great relationships with all of them and all of their families, the distance between us was something that made spending Thanksgivings together hard. But Thanksgiving always gave the word family sort of a new meaning to me, because every single year, 12, 15, 20 people would gather at one family's house and share stories, go around the table and give thanks, and generally just enjoy the time together. And when I look back on these Thanksgivings that I spent as a kid, I think about the kids' table. The kids' table was great because it was a place where no outside influence mattered. The table was set, and it made you feel like an adult to have your own place to sit with your people. At the kids' table, disagreements never happened. Politics were never spoken of. We were talking about our favorite sports teams, our favorite new toys, that Sears catalog that was going to come out any day so that we could sit there, thumb through it, and build our Christmas lists. Heck, the dinner wasn't even that important. We just wanted to get done so that we could get back to playtime, whether that be throwing the football in the yard or watching football with our dads on the couch. So I think that is the message that I want to deliver today. This Thanksgiving, try to feel like you're at the kids' table again. The smiles, the laughter, the joy that comes from spending time with the people that you care about is all that matters this Thanksgiving. I hope all of you out there at H&M Trucking have a fantastic Thanksgiving with your family, friends, and loved ones. I hope all of you drivers stay safe out there on the road. And for those of you that are cooking in your cabs, I really can't wait to hear some of the delicious things that you've cooked up. And if I can give one very strong thanks, I would like to give the thanks to everyone involved with this podcast. I know I say it a lot, but these holiday specials are very important to me, and I would like to give shout outs to so many people. So here goes my list of shout outs. First and foremost, I want to thank the drivers. You guys make this show what it is. We would not have this show without you. And to know that you can give some of your time every now and then to talk about fun things, serious things, it just warms my heart. I would like to thank Sherry Vogler, Eve Essery, James Fonda, and all of the management and staff at the H&M terminal. You guys are absolutely fantastic where this podcast is concerned, and without Sherry and Eve, I don't know that we could produce this podcast. They're constantly coming up with things for us to talk about, and they've always supported the podcast from day one. Finally, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the team here at Bulldog Solutions that helps us create every single one of these podcasts. My audio editor, Mike, my ninja, that guy is one of the nicest and most genuine people that you will ever meet. And I haven't even started to talk about his prowess when it comes to being able to make me sound like $1 million every single week. My video ninja, Haley. I often feel bad for Haley because she spends such an inordinate amount of time staring at my face. But without her, all of the awesome YouTube content that we create for this podcast would not be possible. Every graphic that you see, every correctly spelled name, and of course, me looking like I belong on camera are all the work of Haley. Jackson, our fearless president, keeps me in line and also pulls a lot of strings from behind the scenes to make this podcast go. He'll often joke that the only time I call him is when something is on fire. But I'd like him to know that given my choice of firefighters, Jackson would be choice number one. I'd also like to thank Tim, Tyler, and Scott on our web development team and video editing team, as those guys have skills and abilities that I can't even comprehend. Head on over to the website if you don't believe me, podcast.hmtrucking.com. And last but certainly not least, my co-host Denny Stone. Ever since we brought Denny on this podcast, I feel like it has grown immensely. Not only in the content that we're able to produce because of his vast knowledge and experience on the road, but through the relationship that Denny and I have built. You might not think so, but Denny and I will often spend some time on the phone just chatting about whatever comes up. I don't consider Denny as much of a work colleague as I consider him a friend at this point. And this podcast is a much better production having him be a part of it. Happy Thanksgiving, H&M Trucking, to all of you. Thank you so much for being such a big part of this podcast, and thank you so much for listening to this podcast every single week. We hope all you drivers stay safe out there on the road, and for those of you that are going to be home for the holiday, I hope you hold your loved ones tight and try to pretend like you're always sitting at the kids' table. Happy Thanksgiving, cheese bags. Thanks for being a part of the H&M Trucking podcast. Great stuff there from Mike Perrone, Denny. I can't say that I think we've solved the chili debacle. I think that that's a hill you're going to die on. You know, you told us in the intro, chili was invented in Texas, and apparently Texas chili doesn't have beans. Like I said, it sounds like meat sauce to me.
It says chili con carne. That was the original name. That means peppers with meat. Okay?
Okay.
That's the literal translation. I guess they need to work tomato in there somewhere, but anyway.
You know, it's funny. I had a Spanish-speaking friend once tell me I had a can of Nally chili in college, and it said chili con carne with meat and beans. And he said, that says chili with meat and beans. And I said, you know, I'm like, wait, no, what are you talking about? He says con carne just means with meat. So it literally says chili with meat and beans.
But chili in Spanish is pepper.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I never really thought about that. Okay, well, we're going to have to agree to disagree because I'm about to go dump like 48 ounces of beans into this chili I'm making for tomorrow. So,
okay.
I mean,
Speaking of peppers, and we were talking about things that have to be on the menu, I've decided there's going to have to be a new tradition because for the last year or so, Don and I, we used to get jalapeno poppers when we go out. It's an appetizer. A lot of places in Texas have them. Then we started buying them in the store pre-made. You can buy them in the grocery store here, ready to go, throw on the grill, but they're expensive. So we started making our own. which is a lot cheaper and not really that hard. You just, you cut the jalapeno pepper in half, you take the seeds and the ribs out, and you stuff it with cream cheese. A lot of people put sausage and brisket and all sorts of things in there. I've tried those. Personally, I just like the basic. The jalapeno pepper, you put cream cheese in it, you wrap some thick sliced bacon that we get from the local meat market here, put that on the grill. Oh my, I can make a meal on those damn things. So that's going to have to be a new tradition that we're going to instill in Thanksgiving. And Mike mentioned banana pudding. Yeah, I want me some banana pudding because she always makes pumpkin pie, and I hate that shit.
Oh, that's right. You're not a pumpkin
nasty
guy.
No, not at all. So I'm going to add banana pudding to my list. And we also never mentioned Texas trash, which Texas trash is you have things out so people can munch on during the day, but while you're leading up to the meal, while you're watching the parade and stuff. Okay, Texas trash, basically people call it Chex Mix, nuts and bolts. I've heard it called all sorts of things, but here we call it Texas trash. And the only real difference is it's got a little kick to it. You add a little bit more spicy. Got to have something.
I don't know why you say we haven't been talking about Texas trash. We've mentioned the Dallas Cowboys 6 or 8 times on this podcast already.
You've been waiting to say that until I'd shut up and pause a minute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you go back, if you're watching the YouTube video, run that back 30 seconds and watch me try to keep that one inside while Denny finishes his thought. That was really hard. I'm sweating over here. I'm sweating.
Boy.
Okay, so before we wrap this up, you had some thoughts for us for some drivers that might be out there on the road over Thanksgiving and maybe sitting there without anything good to eat, yeah?
Yeah, and this happened to me a couple of times over the years where I didn't get home over Thanksgiving, and I knew I wasn't going to make it to, even though the meals at, say, a TA or a Petro, they're acceptable, but they're not great. It's not like home. You really don't want to actually go into the Pilot and buy yourself a turkey and cheese sandwich and call that your Thanksgiving meal. I mean, that's just freaking depressing. I'm sorry. So here's what you can do. A few days before, find yourself, I say a Walmart because that's the ones that's usually easiest to get a truck into to shop. But get into a Walmart, find you a turkey breast. Just a turkey, a small turkey breast. They've got them usually in that section over by where they got those bowls of pre-made barbecue and stuff like that. But you find you a turkey breast. You can get a tub of instant mashed potatoes, which, again, I'm always concerned with that mess. If you buy it in the tub, you've got a single serving and you don't have any mess to clean up. If you want you mentioned macaroni and cheese, Easy Mac comes in those too. You can get one of those little tiny cans of green beans and maybe just an individual slice of pie or something. It's not mama's house, it's not home, but it's better than eating a turkey sandwich.
It is, and to me, honestly, Denny, something about that sounds kind of, and please, I don't want this to sound bad. I'm saying that if you had to do that, there's worse ways to go about getting your Thanksgiving, and having that turkey and cheese sandwich like you were talking about that might be a little depressing at the end of the day. Having this would probably get some good feelings running through you. You're still getting those flavors that you're talking about. They make gravy in little packages too. Just add hot water. And those will run you less than $1 a package. So it's cheap, it's easy. And you could make it delicious. Like what you're talking about there to me doesn't sound bad. It actually sounds, like I said, it could be pretty good considering where you got it.
It's an actual meal. It's not as good as home. I'm not going to pretend it is, but it's a whole lot better than, just being out there stuck. And you're alone, you're away from family. It's a holiday. You're already kind of bummed out. So having a good meal might help put a smile on your face, even if you do watch the Cowboys lose.
Absolutely, which is becoming yet another time-honored tradition on Thanksgiving. Now, Denny, there is one thing before we do wrap this up that I was going to ask you and Mike, and we ran out of time, and it slipped my mind. But it's another sticking point for a lot of people on Thanksgiving, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on cranberry sauce. I spent most of my life hating cranberry sauce until one day I just decided to stick a fork into the jar mold of it and just give it a go, and now I absolutely love the stuff. But I'll tell you where I kind of fight with myself. My mother-in-law is a trained chef, and she makes this mandarin orange cranberry sauce that's it's got chunks of cranberries in it, and it's like in a bowl, and it's really nice and really good. But I have such a huge soft spot for the gross fake ocean spray stuff that right out of the can. And she always has both of them on the table because her son, my brother-in-law, really only likes the stuff out of the can. I got to be honest with you, Denny. There's something about that ocean spray stuff, especially the sound it makes. Kind of sounds like Spam coming out of the can. What are your thoughts on cranberry sauce? I got to be honest. I'm going to take the cheap stuff over the expensive, nice stuff.
Well, I'll preface this by saying I think cranberry sauce was invented for people that couldn't cook a turkey.
Oh, yeah? Dress it up a little bit when it's so dry.
It's like why gravy's on the table. If you don't make your turkey dry, you don't need the cranberry sauce. I grew up with what you're talking about. They would actually take it out of the can and put it on a nice fancy Thanksgiving plate thing and slice it.
Yeah, so I remember the slices and then tip the slices kind of a little bit so they were all sitting there nice.
But Dawn, she makes something similar to, was it your mother-in-law you were talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, she makes something very similar to that. It's got little chunks of nuts and stuff in it, and it's delicious. But again, as long as the turkey's not dry, I don't need cranberry sauce.
Yeah, the cranberry sauce really, I think, is at its best with the leftovers, because it's really hard to get leftover turkey. It's hard to keep that from drying out eventually, especially if it spends a day or two in the fridge. And so, like, if I'm going to have a cold turkey sandwich with leftover turkey, that's where I think the cranberry sauce shines. You're shaking your head at me. What's wrong?
When you finish with the turkey, and when you're cleaning up, take that turkey, slice it up, do what you're going to do with it, put it in gallon Ziploc baggies, get the air out, and it won't be dry the next day. You stuff the carcass in there on a plate because you're tired and lazy and don't want to mess with it, it's going to be dried out. I even take the legs. As soon as dinner's over with, I take the legs because nobody eats the legs. But I take the legs and the wings, I throw them in a gallon Ziploc baggie, throw them in the freezer, and a month later, I make turkey noodle soup.
God, that's a really good idea. And I resent the fact that you just described me so perfectly when you said lazy and tired and we're talking about Thanksgiving Day, because that's exactly what I do.
I'm describing me because that's what I used to be, and I got tired of throwing away a lot of perfectly good turkey because it just basically turned into turkey jerky after a couple of days.
Yep, it really does. It really does. Okay, well, I'm taking your advice here. I'm going to go make some chili tonight. If you had a good time listening to Mike and talking about his chili recipe or any of the rest of them, head on over to the website, podcast.hmtrucking.com. Anytime we've got recipes or anything like that drivers share with us, and we've got them, in text form, we'll be putting them up there. So pay attention to that. And Denny, I want to wish you and Dawn and the rest of the family a warm, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys get to spend some real good quality time together and absolutely pack your faces full. I know that's what we're going to be doing over here on the West Coast.
Absolutely. And back at you to you and Ashley and the little dogs.
Oh, yeah, man. And they like some turkey, let me tell you. Turkey, ham, all that stuff. The corgis are, they're insatiable. We'll put it that way. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Thank you for joining us here for our Thanksgiving Day episode, or their day before Thanksgiving episode, excuse me. Denny, it's that time. And it's one thing that I feel like is sort of left out. It's a thing that's very appreciated every other day of the year, but some reason we don't have cheese on Thanksgiving. Macaroni and cheese, yes, but not over here on the West Coast.
Hey, there's a new tradition we could start. Because, we were talking about Yankees versus good people. I shouldn't have said it that way. But there is one thing I got from the Yankees that I absolutely love. And that's those fried cheese curds. Oh, my God, I love those things.
Okay. All right. New Thanksgiving tradition, fried cheese curds over at Denny's house and up here at mine.
And that leads you right into your thing.
It really does. I was getting there. And I just bring a bag of cheese with me all the time. That's kind of how I roll. So, happy Thanksgiving. Stay fresh, cheese bags. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the H&M Trucking Podcast. Please leave a review, subscribe, and connect with Marcus over at the H&M Trucking social media channels. And if you're considering a job at H&M, find us at hmtrucking.com. Until next time, stay safe and ahead of the curve drivers.